Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be a tough video to do, but a lot of you have already seen this video right here, which has been kicking around on the Exosphere and other social media platforms. It deals with a horrific officer-involved shooting in which a Florida officer gunned down a young African-American male who appeared to be doing nothing more than exercising his constitutional rights. We're going to go through all of that here because I think that there is a lot to be dissected. I think that seconds matter. It certainly matters is the analysis that we're going to do on this, and it's not going to bode really well for this particular police officer. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about the Florida man who was executed for exercising his constitutional rights. Okay. This all took place a few days ago in Okaloosa County, Florida, out in the Panhandle there. And many of you have seen the video. Now, I'm going to show portions of the video. I'm going to tell you that when it gets to the really horrible part, we're not going to show that for a couple reasons. One, you all know what happened. Number two, Google and YouTube have a tendency to crap themselves if we do that and shut the videos down like that. But let's take a look at what I really think is the most appropriate stuff to look at, which is all the events leading up to the fatal shooting.
And I was hearing someone yell at me, stupid B-word, like right after it, but I wasn't sure where it came from. And I couldn't call it, I didn't want to call it the police.
Which room is it?
1401.
1401, okay.
1401. But the girl sounded scared, the one that called. She said, she was like, it's getting out, it sounds like it's getting really out of hand.
So it's been number 4 now? Okay. You mean if we stand out there and direct the deputy that's coming through this area?
It's not, you're going to go up to the fourth floor, it's going to be on this side.
Gotcha. 312-111. Sheriff's office, open the door! Sheriff's office, open the door! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! 312, shots fired. Suspect down. Do not move! 312, getting EMS on location.
Okay, now the title of this video is a sensational one. I recognize that. The Florida man that was executed for exercising his constitutional rights. But let's break all that down to see just how sensational it really is. First of all, let's start at the back end of that equation, okay? 23-year-old Roger Fortson, an airman in the United States Air Force, is the individual who was killed at the hands of the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department. Now, I said that he was exercising his constitutional rights. I'm going to assume that 23-year-old Roger Fortson, a member of our United States military, who was serving, as near as everyone could tell, with distinction and honor, had lived up to that point a crime-free lifestyle. The United States military typically does not like to take a lot of convicted felons and people like that into service. So there is absolutely zero evidence to suggest that Mr. Fortson was not absolutely, positively allowed to lawfully possess a firearm. Then let us also remember that this is the state of Florida. So unlike the state of Illinois, California, New York, someplace like that, where you got to jump through 23 hoops to exercise a constitutional right, Florida allows its citizens to live like Americans, like our founding fathers intended them to, so there is very little doubt in my mind, and should be very little doubt in anyone's mind here, that Mr. Fortson was lawfully in possession of the firearm. Now, take it back to the very beginning. When the sheriff's deputy arrives here, let us remember that this isn't a 911 call that's contemporaneous with an event that just happened. This isn't a 911 call that involves 4 or 5 eyewitnesses to a commission of a crime actually occurring. No, this appears to be a neighbor that may have heard some things, and she thinks it came from that apartment, and she has no idea what the noises truly were, and she has no idea who's responsible for those noises. So at best, at this point, and again, maybe Florida law is way different, but I believe that they respect the constitutional rights of their citizens. So at best, the officer here has the ability to go up and attempt to make a casual contact. A casual contact, however, does not involve banging on the door, which we're going to get to. And what I mean by a casual contact is there are situations where officers may have something far less than reasonable suspicion, but a somewhat level of suspicion, and they can go up to and try to contact an individual to see if that individual is willing to speak to them. If the individual is willing to speak to him, the officer will engage in a conversation, i.e. interrogation, and may discover additional evidence that then rises to the level in which an arrest can be made. But under a casual contact setting, the individual who's being investigated is under no duty, no responsibility whatsoever to talk to the officer, can literally tell him to go pound Sam, okay? Now, perhaps if that's what the deputy thought he was going to do, on the door, and the sheriff's officer was wondering if he'd be willing to talk to me for a minute, might have been inappropriate. But no. When we go back and we look at the video, and I wrote down the timeline here, at 1:13 into the video that I showed you, the officer pounds on the door, steps immediately away from the side so that therefore if you're looking through the peephole, you're not going to see him, and does not announce, and this is important on that first knock, never announces that he is a member of law enforcement, okay? And then at some point, it appears that the officer is not comfortable being on the left side of the door, so he immediately shifts to the right side of the door, again remaining out of view from anyone who's looking out of the peephole. Now, at 1:45 of the video, he knocks a second time, again, very aggressively, and this time does announce that he is a sheriff. But what's he saying at that point? He's saying he's a sheriff and he needs to talk to him. And at this point, this officer does not have a reasonable and articulable suspicion that would justify any kind of unlawful detention of Mr. Fortson. But he's knocking and pounding away at the door, saying that I need to talk to you, inferring that somehow or another Mr. Fortson has a duty to open the door, which he doesn't, and talk to the officer, if he even believes it to be an officer. Of course, if Mr. Fortson's looking out the peephole, he's hearing all of this, but he's not seeing anything, is he? Okay, and then the third knock occurs at 1:53, again, a very vicious knock with the announcement that this was law enforcement. Mr. Fortson opens the door moments later. Now, we didn't show you that part of the video, but I want you to pay careful attention to two things. Number one, this is the audio of what occurs then.
Sheriff's office, open the door! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Now, I want you to pay attention that there are shots fired, and then he's ordered to drop the gun. Okay? Think about that. Shots fired, and then he's ordered to drop the gun. Secondly, you can obviously hear how much time goes from the door opening to shots actually being fired.
Sheriff's office, open the door!
So listen, at the very beginning of this video, what did we say it was all about? It was about a Florida man who was executed for exercising his constitutional rights. And no matter how you connect the dots, no matter how you arrange the puzzle pieces, that's exactly what occurred here. I'm not saying that this officer is, in general, overall, a bad guy, But what I am saying is this sheriff's deputy had a very, very bad day at work. He made some horrible decisions. It had a devastating consequence for the Fortson family. And it should, if the legal system is truly just, if we have an equal application of the law, will turn out to be a pretty rough outcome for the sheriff's deputy as well. Listen, we'll go ahead and link up everything that we relied upon down below in making this video. We'll go ahead and find some links down below so that if you want to give to the Fortson family and help them through this terrible time in their lives, you may do so. If you got any ideas for videos we should be doing here at Washington Gun Law, you click on that link right there. And then if you got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to contact us. But if you don't, that information is down there. Finally, let's everyone remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.